right. Okay. Once again, thanks for joining us this week on the Route 9 Production Podcast. This is episode number 11, and I am Sean, joined by
Tyler,
Scott,
and Brad.
All right. So this week we're going to get into things right away as usual. We're going to talk about a story that's making the headlines on multiple gaming websites today. Kind of an interesting thing. First kind of major giveaway I've ever seen like this attached to a video game, really.
biggest, definitely.
Yeah, Square Enix, the developer behind the Just Cause series, they have their third installment of the game underway, and it's about to be released. And to promote the game, they are advertising an island giveaway. Now, normally you would hear a promotional event with the island word attached to the other word, getaway. But no, they are giving you a fucking island. You can have your own island.
But
Caveat.
Well, and when I first read the headline before I clicked on it, I thought I just assumed they meant like you got your own island in the game.
Yeah.
You might have been able to customize
Yeah.
or something. I didn't actually think it was a real life island.
like, you
It's
can
a
plug in
real
some
world.
GPS and find it on Google
Yeah.
Maps island.
IRL island.
But
But, I mean, it's not easy to get. Maybe it is. We don't know yet. Depending on how strong you are in the game, it appears as though the requisite form of attaining said island is you have to place atop the leaderboard in, looks like the game type Chaos Points, 90 days after the release of Just Cause 3 for a chance to win an island valued at $50,000 USD, or a cash prize for the same amount. Now, here's the thing. We don't know where this island is yet, or what island is. It's this is the funniest thing about the whole article. Quotations.
I'm assuming it's an island that's about the size of a one-bedroom apartment in the middle
Yeah.
of the Caribbean.
Here's the thing, though. Quotations. Location of the island is to be determined by the sponsor, end quote. So this is literally one of those things where it's like, here's a rock that sticks up out of the water, qualifies as an island. You took this over
In Alaska.
$50,000.
Here's a picture of it. Watch it grow over the years. Or shrink, actually.
Yes. All taxes and fees associated with purchasing and obtaining of island, including, but not limited to, attorney's fees, escrow, and closing costs, are the responsibility of the winner. Sponsor does not guarantee the island to be inhabitable, developed, or reachable by any means other than a boat.
If they determined that this island was big enough for me to build a house and a helicopter pad on,
Still, like, to build that house, that's
to get the material out there, like that's an expensive.
a losing proposition. You're spending way
On a
more than the
boat?
worth of having the island at that time. Like,
Yeah.
to ferry construction units out there.
what if I did it with my bare hands
And-
and a sailboat?
Not to mention, it's probably going to cost you more than $50,000 to claim this island the way they talk about it, with closing
Yeah.
fees, escrows, attorney fees, all that shit. Like, you're getting up there in the stratosphere.
So we promise you every person's soul in the entire world.
Yeah.
But
Here's an island worth $50,000. It's going to cost you more than $50,000 probably to claim. But you have an island, right? Is that worth at that point?
it depends on if there's laws on said island. Is it in the U.S.? Is it?
We don't know.
That would be nice if it was its own sovereign island.
It would be. But if you had to travel 1,000 miles to get to the island?
Well, yeah. Well, and say that we living in Oklahoma have to fly 6 hours away just to get to a boat that can even get you to your island or something. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
It's not worth. I'd take the cash
yeah.
Yeah.
instantly.
I might
Instantly.
take the island if I could ask them what it was.
Well, can you?
They never said that they have to disclose it after the fact that you take the island or the money.
Well,
so
they just said they don't know what it is yet. They didn't say that they're never going to reveal.
Yeah, it's Mystery Island at this point. But like,
That doesn't mean it will
Fantasy
stay
Island.
Mystery Island.
I would say, can you take me to the island first? Can I see said island? Is it?
can I see pictures? Can you give me the
How many-
GPS?
How many
Like,
islands out there do you really think are worth 50,000?
That's what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that they'd be a lot more expensive than 50 grand.
well, like the guy from Virgin
That's what I was going to bring up.
records,
Richard
yeah.
Branson's island. Like, it's not that big.
And he made it, though.
Yeah. And it's valued at like $20 million or something like
Yeah.
that. So
But it's inhabitable.
it's inhabitable. It's built upon. It is established. It's maybe like area-wise, probably 3 square miles, I would say.
Which is a pretty good size.
Yeah,
But still,
if you're going mile and a half long, mile and a half wide
If you think
square,
of how big the
it's
Vatican
not.
is.
Yeah, but still, like
That's a
that's
whole country.
That's what you get for 10 million. So you go from 10 million to 50,000, which is 1/200th that size.
It's like,
But-
yes.
But is most of the expense of that island in the palace that he has
It's
on
the
that
land.
island, just itself?
Yeah, to own the land, the island. Like private islands have become like the new G6, right? Like
Well,
the-
and you said he built it, right? Technically, like
Yeah.
he placed the island there.
That
for the
may
most
have been
part.
something I heard on a show that
I-
isn't real.
I think he purchased the island from a nation. Like, this is my land now. This is Richard Branson Island now, not yours anymore. And that's become a thing now, like for celebrities to show off wealth, and millionaires and billionaires show off wealth is like, I don't know, just own some land that I built some corporations on. I got my motherfucking island. Like, I'm balling. I got the island now. That's like before with rappers and shit was rapping about the private jets and stuff. Like, that was the pinnacle of success, is I have someone to fly me around the world at $50,000 a gallon in fuel costs and shit. So,
Yeah.
like, money is not a thing. Now, to say money is not a thing is you own your own private island.
Where you don't have to worry about anything.
Anything.
Because you own the entire thing.
Yeah. Watch me shoot this little kid. Hey, I can do it because I own the island and there's no laws and that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but no, this is. I can't imagine, if, like you said, Scott, a $50,000 island being bigger than this table. Like, sticking up out of the water,
Yeah.
in the middle of like
I wonder-
the Indian Ocean.
I wonder how much it costs to export sand to that this tiny of an island, and how long I'd have to work to actually make it into a habitable
Expand
island.
it. Nah, it's not worth $50,000, please. Cash.
Depends on how
cash
shallow
money.
the water is.
Yeah.
Well, and then you tax it, so you got to think you're probably around more like 30 or
Yeah.
35 grand. I don't know what the tax rate is on.
Donate it to my own charity.
I mean, why not take the $50,000, buy a slightly smaller island for $30,000, and keep $20,000?
yeah, but then I got to pay all the fees. Oh wait, I already
You
do.
still do.
Well, and then
And I don't have $50,000.
so we're talking about shaving this much off of the already table-sized island.
Well, honestly, what's the difference?
And now we get into the real serious kicker with this story, as far as prize money and prizes go, is the ultimate caveat to this is grand prize is subject to change if necessary. Sponsor reserves the right to change and or substitute any components of the grand prize at any time
We
in
had
its
a-
sole direction.
Big wave hit the island, and it's gone now.
Basically,
How big are we talking? About 6 inches tall.
basically says to me, let's hype the shit out of this game with this prize and this offer, and then not give away an island.
All right, so I'm down with us giving away an island as long as it never happens. So, legal. You got this, right? Yeah? Go ahead.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, the Jackie Moon, where he's like, hit the grand prize shot for $10,000, you know, like from half court, and the dude just wakes up and shoots the basketball that goes in, and he's like, no, you know,
It wasn't supposed to happen.
who has $10,000?
Yeah.
And the same thing happens again later, where he promises free corn dogs to the entire visiting crowd if the Tropics
Do
score
not
120
score
points.
more
Yeah.
points.
He tries to block his own teammate's shot to prevent giving away corn dogs, and then the dude hits a shot and scores like 122, and the referee's like, corn dogs, Jackie. It's good. I don't know, that's just what this makes me think of, is like, yeah, we have this brilliant marketing plan to sell the game based around you could have your own
But
island,
they have their asses covered.
with full intentions to never give this island to anyone, ever.
If you're stupid enough to take the island, like, we're going to make sure it just doesn't happen. But what's behind door number 2 is the question.
$50,000.
50 grand, but what else could 50 grand buy me?
An island.
No. If they change
I know what
it,
you mean, yeah.
like, what else could it be?
I don't know, and it probably will, honestly, but we'll never hear about it. Like, it might make some news.
50 grand worth of
Yeah.
in-game currency
Whatever.
to spend on all the clothes you want.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Got
if
this
they were,
badass new hoodie they just came out with.
if they were like $50,000 to future titles from all developers, that might be takeable.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather
It's
the cash.
doable.
Huh? You'd rather have the cash?
I'd rather the cash.
I agree. I would take the 50 grand in that scenario. I'm still going to have to pay taxes on it in the U.S., but still, 35,000 isn't bad. That's probably what it would be about after the percentage taken, 33, 35. And I can buy a lot of stuff with that right now. But anyways, it appears as though we have a special guest. Actually, he's not a guest. He's a returning cast member.
Special nonetheless.
He's still in the credits, therefore he is
still
an
in the
official.
credits. Still, you want some ears?
I'm a regular.
There's ears
and
below
I
him.
wasn't regular and now I'm regular again.
There should be buds like below.
I got it.
I may have stole them.
Oh, that might
And he's
pop.
on mute.
Take a pause on my account, everyone.
That suck. It's in. Should be.
There we go.
That's what she said.
Oh, there we go.
There are the headphones.
No
The
headphones.
funny thing is, I actually done a quick little research and I found a 1 acre island for sale for
Really upsetting
$40,000 US
because-
dollars.
1 acre?
Yeah.
Is that a square acre?
It's
Oh,
a
it doesn't
long
look-
acre.
The picture, it doesn't look very square.
No. No, I mean, like, is that the combined area of the island is 1 square acre?
Yeah, that's what it says, the size.
Okay.
Is 1 acre, private island
That's tiny.
Your
for
spot's
40,000.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
Go grab me some headphones.
Because you also have to think that, like, to prep that island to build upon is going to cost a lot of money.
Sound tech, go get me some headphones.
Yeah.
Snap. Hurry up.
So while we're working through some technical issues here, just to catch you up, Mason, developer Square Enix Just Cause 3 is giving away an island to people who make the top spot on the leaderboards within 90 days of release. And we're trying to argue whether or not you should take the island or the alternate first prize of $50,000. Now, the island is... It's not been released where the island is, how big the island is, if it's even inhabitable.
It specifically says does not have to be inhabitable.
Right.
We do not have to tell you.
We don't have to tell you shit.
And the kicker, you have to pay for all the fees of acquiring the island.
Yeah,
including
attorney fees,
costs.
yeah, escrow, everything you have to pay.
Escrow's a bitch.
Yeah, so it's really not. I mean, unless you plan on trying to sell the island to get some money back,
Yeah.
that's about it.
Really depends.
What if you're not 18?
You have to see the numbers.
I think that's probably
Depends on how much that they think they can claim the island for, and then also the value of land all around the world is going to go up over time, so it would probably be a more valuable investment than $50,000. Depends on how habitable it is.
But Brad just found a
Yes.
1 acre island for $40,000. Where was that island, Brad?
Atlantic coast is all it says.
Atlantic coast.
Mm-hmm.
So
It says it's one of the smaller Maine islands, like Maine, M-A-I-N-E.
okay, so U.S. Atlantic coast,
Yes.
But
northeast.
then, but then now I've read it. It says an acre more or less, according to the deed, which means at low tide it is a lot more, and high tide it's only about half an acre.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh shit!
You'd be spewing.
Jesus, this table would get really small at high tide.
Like I said, a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Some
No,
concrete.
I'm not doing it. Like, I wouldn't. No, because
Your kids could live there forever, and their kids' kids.
well, now
Their
it's telling me
kids.
though that they've scouted this island pretty good. Well, right, and if you're having to pay escrow and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of tied to legalities within like a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
So you're buying this island from some nation, ultimately probably a Western nation.
It could be you're just buying land. period.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. It's just like a deed.
Yeah.
You're buying. You won the deed
Which-
to an island.
Yeah.
Not as exciting. Not as exciting as like helicopter drop you off.
But I get to go there, and it's mine.
Yeah. don't
Or
know.
they could just be giving you the nuclear wasteland from Bikini Atoll.
Oh.
Shit all there.
There you go.
It is not inhabitable at all.
No, they didn't guarantee it was.
And you have to buy it from the government.
Fuck with the connection.
But it's 12
Like,
square acres of
No, just fuck
radiated
with the, you have to,
land.
like, hold it. Those things are so fucked up.
Connected right there.
Yeah.
The plants
right
right
there.
growing there.
Got it. All right.
Mason, can you hear me?
One ear.
Oh,
it's
hey,
fucked
one
up.
ear is better than none.
But you have to hold it.
Deal with it.
I don't know what Chris did with the earbuds last week.
Ate 'em.
Okay, so private island, we're pretty much in agreement. It's not worth.
No.
Not worth. 50 grand in cash is worth more than an island.
What would
sight
you
unseen.
Quick question. What would you spend your 50 grand on?
Good question.
Go.
Hookers and coke.
Well, if I won it right now, I'm sure it would probably go towards my wedding in a truck.
Yeah,
Romantic.
very
It's cute.
romantic.
Well, it's going to cost me a lot of money, so you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I might as well use that.
Yeah,
The
You can
free
get a
money that I
really
just
nice
got.
truck for 50
50,000
grand.
is going to go towards a wedding.
You can
and
also-
the used
you can also-
2005.
Yeah, you can
Nissan.
also get a really nice
Nissan
truck
Tundra.
for like 30 grand.
Yeah.
Too.
Sean?
50 grand is going to pay for the rest of my school, and it's also going to pay for probably living expenses for the next 6 years, 7 years. I think I could
Nice.
make it last that long. I could get an apartment and cable and internet, and then at the end of the 6 years, go, well, fucking money ran out.
Time to go.
Time to go. What would
Mason?
you spend 50 grand on? You can't say hookers and coke either. That's been
Yeah.
taken.
Well, okay, I can't say hookers and coke straight out, so I'll just say I'll pay off the rest of my mortgage, which would leave me about $13,000 for hookers and coke.
How much? How many ships are you going to buy in Eve, Scott? How much bisque is that, or was it the
Isk.
Isk. How much lobster isk is that?
Too much. Too
Too
much.
much. Calculate. No, what's the 50 grand spent on?
Oh, the 50 grand. High risk investments in the stock market.
Try to hit
Play
it
it
big.
big.
Nice
Or
choice.
the casino. Not quite sure.
Both are
Both
very
sound-
risky.
Dude.
Like I didn't have it before, so if I lose it, I still don't have it.
I mean, you could split it down the middle, though, right? 25,000 in high risk,
You need to make a
25,000
stream.
on the craps tables.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit. Just
We're-
all in or nothing.
We're going to stream Scott on the slots while on his phone he's playing around with a highly volatile stock market at the same time.
Split it between the stock market and
we'll put
the
a GoPro like harness on him. We can just have like a money counter on the stream.
It's
So
just-
we can see it go down. We can
It's
see
just-
it go up.
We'll be accepting donations for this
just
to
more
happen.
ga- like
for more gambling.
Screaming "Go baby go" at both screens at the same time, like
I'm sure there's something in Twitch's
Sell,
policy
buy,
that
no,
won't
five.
let you stream intense amount
Gambling.
of gambling.
No making gambling and high risk choices look fun.
And then I would probably walk out of the casino and spend my earnings on hookers and blow.
there you go.
There we go. See?
It probably
Got someone with me.
That has me questioning though, because like streaming gambling, like
Isn't PvP gambling
is it a state to
at all
state law?
times? Streaming gambling.
knows?
It's on E ESPN.
Because I mean, we can do this.
It's on E ESPN.
Yes, the World Series of Poker.
Yep. It's gambling.
Yeah.
So,
It's tournament gambling though.
do you think they'd really be that happy if you had a GoPro camera on your shoulder
No.
while you were
And-
playing the eye roller tournament?
No, you cannot video yourself gambling in a casino either, unless it's a predetermined. You have to set it up with the.
So I'm gonna have to
staff
pay
and everything.
$1,000 to fly one of you to video this.
Yeah.
Shit.
At least.
Yeah.
All
right.
Cheaper.
Nah. Yeah. So don't take the island. Bottom line, into that story. Don't take the island.
Yeah.
That's a fool's gamble. You have no idea what you're getting. It's not like there's going to be like 25, Amazon big titted woman just
Death by snoo snoo.
Yeah, Death by Snooze Snooze is not happening on this island for you. It's in your dreams, but it's not. You're not going to arrive, and there's not going to be cold buckets of beer and big-titted women in a speedboat waiting for you when you get there. You have to supply all that yourself, and that's really hard to attain, even with your own 1 square acre island that may not be inhabitable.
Half square on high tide.
Okay, so moving on to another topic, which we're going to come up with now. Gears of War 3 Ultimate Edition. Hype? No hype? Anyone?
What's a Gears of War?
Anyone?
You don't know Gears of War?
No, I know what it is, but I mean, it's been so long since the last one.
By the way, you're not allowed to say that anymore. It's not Gears of War, it's Gears.
Brad,
Gers.
Yes.
Gears.
It's called Gears.
can you bring your mic a little closer? We're having trouble hearing you on this end.
Riddled. I think this one should just be titled Technical
Yeah,
Difficulties.
it's a shit happens episode.
Watch
Yeah, no,
people
I
have
like,
technical
um,
difficulties.
I like the. I mean, I don't know. I loved Gears for a little while, and then it lost me pretty quickly. Like Gears 3, I didn't really play much of.
Yeah.
I pretty much played the campaign and got off, honestly. Like, kind of the same way with Gears 2. Gears 1, I played a shit ton.
I played a lot of
multiplayer,
multiplayer.
but I don't know. Who knows? I might get hooked on it. I mean, I love the game. It's not the game that usually holds my interest for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Horde. That's about all as Gears as I can do. I like the
Yeah.
Horde mode and the campaign. That's multiplayer, not so much. I can sit there and play Horde for a very long time.
I loved Gears.
Yeah.
Played so much Gears, and I would like for it to come back. No matter what the game turns out, to be like the last installment that they did with Baird and Coltrane. I heard it wasn't that great. Judgment Day didn't play it, but at the same time, I'd like for it to come because if they're going to keep remaking Call of Duty, they can go ahead and make another Gears game, please.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what the Call of Duty franchise is now. We just remake the previous game
Yeah.
across
With
developers.
a new gun.
Right. But yeah, I mean, my standpoint is, it feels too soon to me. Like, Gears of War, like, the difference to me where it was like, I was super excited to get the Master Chief Collection was, there was a long time between Halo 1 and the Master Chief Collection, right? Like, 13 years.
Yeah.
And between Gears 1 and this, it's only been 8. And I know that still feels like a long time. And in terms of games, it is a long time. 8 years is a long time between games. But I still don't think that it was like, Jesus, Gears of War 1 looks like shit. It needs a massive overhaul to the graphics and update the resolution. It never felt like that to me. Like, and all they really did, I played the beta. I got in on it after E3. I signed up, got my code and everything, and played it. And immediately when I loaded into my first game, I was like, Gears 3. This is Gear 3. This was like, they just took the Gears 3 engine, made it 1080p at 60 frames, and then remade Gears of War 1 in that engine. Which was kind of like, whatever. There wasn't that much. Like, there was a bit of a nostalgia factor for about the first 15 minutes. And I played a lot of Gears. I wasn't a sole Gears player. I mean, I played a lot of Gears 2. Played quite a bit of Gears 3. Missed out on the Gears 1 hype because I was way up Halo's ass at the time when it was at its height of popularity. Which, you can't blame me for. Halo is an awesome game, right? Like,
Yeah.
why?
I mean,
If you're gonna miss out on Gears, it might as well be the Halo, right?
I've always played multiple games at one time, though. Like, even when I was a sole Halo 2 player, I was still playing World of Warcraft
Yeah.
in between matches or, like, splitting my night in half. Play WoW, do a couple raids, then play Halo for 2 or 3 more hours, then swap back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like, now I do the same thing. I mean, that's always what I've done. I've never been solely only one game. I mean, actually, League. I was pretty solely League there for quite a while, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, when I moved into the house, you were solo League. Really. That's like all you play.
Well, when you moved in, Battlefield 3 was still going on, and I played quite a bit of Battlefield 3, but I never got into 4. So
Yeah.
once 3 died, that's when I truly had nothing else to play.
You guys were solid and like very good on Battlefield 3 for a while there, though.
Yeah, no, we were really good on Battlefield 3. Like, really good.
A fun game.
Like, we had our own servers and everything.
I've
So-
always been for one game. I was like Halo,
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, Gears of War, all those games. I played only them at the time. League of Legends now is all I play.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I work. Is like I crush on a game, right? Like I'm all about it for however long it carries me. And pretty much here recently, the way things have worked out is, it's like a couple of games have pulled me away from standbys, and I'd say the only standby that I really have now too is League, and I don't play that as much as I think I should or probably should. It's way more of a social game to me. Like it's not something I'm going to play competitive with when I'm on by myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big solo queue guy, but like other people are on and like, hey man, you want to play a game? And I'm like, yeah, sure. If I'm in the mood, yeah, let's do it. And then that'll supersede whatever else I'm doing. I'll quit out of another game to go play League. But you know, back in the days of me playing video games pretty hardcore, like with Halo, man, I'm not playing anything other than that. I got to get good. I got to keep up with my skills or whatever skills I had. It was the similar situation. Like the game that actually pulled me out of Halo was Gears 2, 2008.
Great game.
Yeah, I put down Halo for a while to pick up Gears. I'd heard about it a lot. A lot of friends played it. A lot of people were stoked about Gears 2 coming out, so I checked it out. And yeah, it took me out of Halo for a while. And then kind of gatewayed me to other games like Call of Duty and shit. But yeah, Gears is it's in here a little bit. I got a spot. Like the characterization was really good. I'll give them a lot of credit. Epic made a great game and a great franchise.
Yeah.
The setting was awesome. The visual, you know, the idea of like the alien, it's basically humans versus aliens, right? But the aliens didn't come from space, well, ostensibly they came from out of the ground beneath us.
Yeah, I like that concept.
That's a kind of a twist on things. They weren't descending out of dropships, they were rising up out of the ground and popping up out of the ground on you and shit. It made for like some exciting gameplay moments and some
Well, and
really
it was-
cinematic scenes.
It was like a different level of like raw visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Halo, it just seemed more real. Like it has that more realistic vibe. I mean, it's still unrealistic. Every character is massive
Yeah.
and super buff, and you know you're chainsawing people in half with your gun. And but like, it looks more real. Like it's a different sensation than
Everything
playing Halo,
fits.
where
Yeah.
it's more like you know, it's no matter how real they make Halo look. Like once you see the aliens, you're like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it's
Like they
cartoony.
look cool, but they're not the same as like, that's what an alien looks like.
Yeah, and let's
Yeah.
face it, like that's the original draw to Gears in the first place. That was the selling point, was
It's not
the
Halo.
Lancer. No, I mean
The
it's
chainsaw,
not Halo. That
you
was
mean
one
the
thing.
Chainsaw Lancer.
Lancer.
right?
Yeah,
That's what got me into the game.
original Lancer.
The idea,
Yeah.
okay, actually, first was probably the fact that the third person was actually looking successful again.
Yes.
The third person shooter. Hadn't seen that since SOCOM, and I used to love that game. And they just did it so well. Then the Lancer, of course, like you said.
Yeah, I mean they pulled off third-person view mechanics really well, and then they took a different stance. Like a lot of games will go for verticality, right, with a movement mechanic, where we're going to have your classic X and Y pattern of movement, strafing, moving forward and back, and then we're just going to go with a jump, you know. And that's how we're going to add an additional form of movement to traverse maps and such. And Gears went with the idea of like, no, we're not going to make our characters jump. We're going to make them fucking dive roll and slam into walls and shit. You know, the wall bounces were a huge part of the skill
It
gap
was
in
very
Gears.
tactical. Like jump
Yeah.
up against a wall, pen over, blind fire.
It was a cover-based shooter. It's a cover-based third-person shooter, and its core. And to make that work in multiplayer is a very difficult task. That's why I don't see very many successful ones, really. Like first-person shooter seems pretty easy now to pull off.
Yeah.
But the third-person shooter franchise at that point really hadn't taken off that much. Gears kind of stepped in and took that role over in gaming and did it very well and were very successful, obviously. And then carried themselves through 3.5 games. I don't count Judgment. And Judgment was like
It's like a DLC.
it's a fart. It's a queef. It was like, what? We'll just shit this one out. You know, here you
Womp.
go. Chew on this for a while we work on something else.
They should have kept it a mystery.
Yeah.
I would have been so much more interested in the following Phoenix and Dom around and their pre-story instead of what Bard and Coltrane were doing. Even though I love both those characters, but I like them more
Yeah.
as a mystery. Like Dom and Phoenix had so much more interesting backstories to them
Right.
that we knew of.
Right. I mean, that's really what carried the game too. Gameplay, well, I mean, it was solid. There was okay. Let's go with
The covering system would sometimes fuck you in
Yeah.
multiplayer though. Like you're sprinting and next thing you know, just like boom, cover blown up, or
well,
like you
that's
know.
what I was going to go on to was the net coding for the game was never strong, even through the third installment of the franchise. At that point, you know, 5 years after the first release of the game, they still hadn't gotten it right.
I always just felt like it needed to be a separate button, like you can hold sprint with A or something, but then you nudge B and that's how you snap to a wall immediately, or something like a quick action button, or like, I mean, you gotta have something else. Like you can't just be able to hold A and then if you just happen to take this wall at the too direct of an angle, boom, you're fucked.
Right. That game taught me about host advantage.
Yeah, that too.
That was a harsh lesson. I remember playing my first game online multiplayer and was like, "Ooh, what the? This guy's like 30-0. What the fuck? I can't do anything. I can't even move. I'm getting stuck on everything." And then played a game where I was host and I was like, "I'm a super god. I could do whatever I want to. You can't even touch me." You got 4 people on the opposite team trying to kill you and you're just giving everybody to shit and chainsawing at will, just like literally walking up to players with your chainsaw up and just from like 30 feet away, and there's nothing they can do about it because on their screen they're drilling you in the face, but on your screen the bullets are just going like across your screen to the left, and you're like, there's no way you're killing me right now. You're dead. You're done. So from that aspect, I think like Gears kind of failed with the online multiplayer. Now they did have a very big competitive community for a while in MLG. They were like the number 2 competitive game.
We got a pretty good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, first video game you played?
Like
It's a hard question.
do you want it like the game that really like broke it open, where you're like,
Or the first one ever
hardcore
in our
game, or like
hands?
literally the first game we've ever played?
I think I actually have an answer for that. I think
I do
the
too.
first game that I
know
ever
both of
played
them.
was Game Gear Battletoads.
Oh,
Boom.
great game.
Boom.
Wow.
Loved it. Game Gear like this big in my hands, just Battletoads. Never could pass a level when you're on the motorcycle and whatever.
Mine
So
was
difficult.
for sure like legitimate game would be that Yoshi's Island or whatever it was that
On Super
my
Nintendo.
parents, yeah, on
Super
Super
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Super
You mean the
Nintendo.
one with the gun? Where you actually had the gun?
No, that's Duck Hunt.
No,
That's Duck Hunt.
No, I mean there's
Yoshi's
a
Island was Yoshi's story where you carried baby Mario on your back and
no,
ran.
not that one.
Not that one.
Which one was it? It's like I can't.
What's
Mario
the
World
setting?
2,
I might be able
Yoshi's
to help you out.
Like when you look at, you start off on the map and you start on like the bottom
You
left.
have the
it's
castle.
like
You
a
can go
big-
around.
It's like a
and
big island, and you beat like 4 or 5 levels. Then you go up the ladder, and then you're.
oh,
on the
dude,
next
that's
level.
Super Mario Land.
Super Mario
Yeah.
or Super Mario
SNES.
World, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Grandma's house.
Wait
Yeah.
a second. That
Well,
was
my
like the
parents
second
bought-
game I ever
My
played.
my parents bought that one because that's the only one I would play. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't have any practice with the other ones, and I was terrible.
Yeah, that's
So I
Super
had to
Mario
play
World.
that one because I knew the levels.
Was there a map where you got in a bubble and that's how you started? You went over to the bubble machine?
No, that was
Okay.
Yoshi's
something
Island.
I think I was like Mario's Island
All right.
2 or something like that. I don't know.
First
Mine-
game.
Has everyone answered?
No, not everyone has answered.
First game ever was original Mario on the original Nintendo.
I remember that
and
game.
Tetris.
Uh,
It was either or on that one.
My first game, I'm gonna date myself, was a top-down console, CRT console at Pizza Hut of Pac-Man, and it was 2-player Pac-Man.
I don't know. We counted arcade games.
Yeah, arcade games. That was a whole nother. I
Yeah.
think my first one was like Marvel, wherever they had the X-Men.
Yeah,
See, I can remember playing Pong on Atari.
Yeah. Well, I played Pong too, but the first time I ever touched a video game in my life, I was probably 3 years old. My mom would tell me the stories of taking me to Pizza Hut, and I would play Pac-Man at Pizza Hut on a tabletop console. Like, you know how you have the stand-up consoles in the arcade? This was a tabletop of Pac-Man.
Yeah,
with
controls
the
are,
two
like, on the
chairs?
side.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
those.
we had one of those here in Tulsa.
Space Invaders is the best on those. And Donkey Kong. There's a question number 2.
Well,
A follow-up question.
What was the first game that you really got addicted to in a video game and played it for endless hours late at night?
Legend of Zelda on NES.
Star Fox 64.
Ocarina of Time on N64. Or Super Mario, or Mario 64, because I was pretty obsessed with that game for a while.
I can't remember which came out first, honestly. EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies, Ocarina of Time, or
Ocarina, probably.
I kind
Yeah.
of had 2 games that were at the same time that really bursted open for me. One was
Brad's
Gran
webcam's
Turismo.
gone.
It was like the first one that I really just could not stop playing. If I wasn't playing Gran Turismo, I
Yeah.
was playing StarCraft. They came about at the same time for me.
Did you play StarCraft before you played Age of Empires?
played
Yes.
a lot of Red Alert.
Yep.
That was
And then I
pretty
got into
awesome.
Age of Empires, and
Yeah.
Well, it's not just like what you played a lot of. Like, I think it specifically like,
Busted you into
like-
the all-night
like,
gamer
yeah,
status.
you had to play it.
That was just every night a new game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there was at that time when I was a kid, like,
Which
Question 3. All right, here. All right, man. Like,
okay,
who are
Best
you,
game-
Comrade Questions?
best game ever created at this point.
best
My
game.
opinion.
Opinionated.
So this goes along probably. If I think about this question, the wording of it, I would word it in my head as if you could only play one game for the rest of your life, pretty much.
What would it be?
What would it be? Man, that's strong. That's a strong one. Why
I
did you
already
save
know.
the third one for the strong one?
I already know.
I mean, there's so many.
Star Wars Galaxies pre-NGE content.
You would play that for the rest of your life.
Yep. Yep.
And never get tired. Do I get to
Never.
play multiplayer? That's what I've asked myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Is there
that's what I was
other
about to
people
say.
playing, though, is the
I think,
important question.
The sweet spot for me in my video game playing career is Halo 2. That was, to me, the best combination of a strong campaign story and exciting multiplayer.
Yeah, I'd take 3. Halo
Yeah.
3 over anything any day.
Halo 2 for me. Unless it was
See,
Halo 1.
I
and we
can't
also-
say Halo 2 because by the end of Halo 2, I wasn't playing it anymore.
I kinda
And
have
was
to
strictly
say
playing
Eve as
WoW.
well.
Like, I was already kind of burnt out.
So are you going WoW then?
God, that's hard.
It's a good choice.
strong
Ooh.
question.
Because it has such a strong track record, too.
If-
so it
if you
makes
get to-
sense.
See, that
If you
is
get
the
to
thing.
pick what release it is,
If I
too.
would
If it's
say-
of an MMO and you picked WoW and you just wanted to play, like, original and
I
just
mean,
have the same
I would
level
say
of
if WoW
happiness.
continued to just expand and expand, then
I think I twisted
I
the
guess
question, though, because I had to revert with, like, is
Yeah.
that the best game you've ever played?
no, it's not the best game I've ever played.
Best. Lollipop Chainsaw. Beat it in one night.
Quap.
I would have to say back in the day, Battlefield, no, Ghost Recon 2 was like,
That's the best game you've ever played.
for like when it came to like how happy I was playing
Yeah.
the game
Yeah.
and stuff, not like as in the game was amazing and groundbreaking and it looked good or anything, because it came out on, it
Just
was on
your
Xbox
happiest time.
One, and it was before they butchered it with Advanced Warfighter, and it was like the last true really good Ghost Recon game, and like that's Jeff and Jake used to play with me, which was kind of made it special because you never see them, you know what I mean, like they come around not even once
Yeah.
a year sometimes,
No,
you
yeah.
know, and especially back then, so it was like, and they were good, so that, I mean, it was just, it was like the epitome of like being able to spawn camp people and like really just like dominate somebody if you were good.
You dirty, dirty man.
And so if you were good at the
Spawn
game,
camping bastard.
well, you had to. There was no other way. Like the levels were to where you started on each side. There was only one spawn point to maybe 2 to 3 per map, but they were all in a line.
Yeah, they
So
were all at the
inevitably,
back.
inevitably, you just kept advancing until there was nowhere else for you to go, unless they killed all of you and it reset. Like the only thing to do was advance and then spawn camp them
Yeah.
if they were that bad.
Question 4.
Is there Is there a question 5?
There is a question.
There will be. I hope there's a
Don't
question
ask.
5, dude, because we're out of topics.
We got at least 15 more minutes.
Yeah,
to
we
fill,
got 15
you know?
to cover, and this is good. These are great questions.
Best
And
video game developer studio.
see, for me, about
I
2 years ago, this would have been really easy for me to answer. Now, not so much. Yeah, I think people know
it's
why.
so
I really
easy for
like
me.
I really like what DICE has been doing.
Bethesda. By
Bethesda
far,
is
man.
Yeah.
up there.
Everything like those have been
I'd
some
have
of
to
my
put it at
favorite
Bethesda.
games.
Bethesda's really good.
So just
I was not impressed with their MMO stat, though.
But
Oh, no.
them, I can never fucking say that word.
Bethesda.
Whatever. Yeah, I
Bethesda,
can never
how do you
say
say
it.
it?
Them
Say-
two
say-
for me are on par.
Say
you-
Beth.
Yeah.
Say Beth.
Yeah, they're really on par. They've both done some pretty extraordinary things, and I think
I missed the second
Blizzard
developer.
maybe a little bit
Blizzard.
more just because of their technical side.
Yeah.
And they've really brought on, like, if you didn't have Blizzard, we probably wouldn't have like multiplayer games how they are today. Like our
Who
platform.
made?
You wouldn't have Xbox Live without Blizzard, for instance.
Yeah, as far as
They
the
made-
net structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
made Farmville?
You know, I was going to go there, and you fucking beat me to the point, because I was going to wait for it to go to me, and I was going to be like, I'm going to have to go with King Games.
All right,
King Games?
as a background
Armor
song, can we
Games.
get Freebird or Sandstorm on right now? Because this guy right here, Farmville with the background of Sandstorm.
No, I think...
Darude Sandstorm.
Dude.
I would have said my pick previous to Destiny would have been Bungie just for giving me Halo, but they fucked that up. They fucked that up big time. They're not my favorite
and,
anymore.
And
They've done
Bungie
nothing
and
else,
Bungie
really.
truly only has Halo for like the truly like groundbreaking like that
Oh,
is
yeah.
an amazing
Destiny.
game.
Yes.
You know, whereas
Launched
you
a
know,
console.
Bethesda.
Let's not start on
Bethesda,
Destiny.
Blizzard,
Yeah, Bethesda is a very
DICE,
strong.
even Activision. Even though
Yeah,
I hate Call of Duty, and all
Activision
that
They
isn't
stuff.
the
still
developer,
are an
though.
innovator.
They're not a developer though for
Treyarch?
games. Treyarch, Infinity
Oh,
Ward,
yeah.
Sledgehammer. Those are the developers. Activision is the publisher.
Who? What about Battlefield?
Battlefield is DICE.
DICE.
EA is the publisher.
Because Battlefield's been around
gonna say,
for
well,
a good while.
Yeah.
DICE has had some really impressive showings in games as of late.
Yeah.
3 and 4 were beautiful games.
I'm gonna go with Bethesda on this one too. Now that I think about it, like as
Yeah.
far as overall game composition goes and strength of games, even though their games are all very similar as far as background goes and progression.
Well, they're immersive.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
And
did you ever play Beyond Good and Evil?
no.
Yes.
That was a great game, right? And it was they took things that had been there before and then they changed it and they made this whole storyline that brings you completely into it. By the end of the game, you're satisfied, like a rare feeling. And I've got that with a couple games from Bethesda.
Yes.
Like, of course, you get Elder Scrolls,
Oh.
Fallout.
Fallout.
I mean,
you can't argue with it, man.
to
It's
be
just-
so successful with essentially to me the way I view Fallout versus like the Elder Scrolls franchises.
Guns.
Well, they're the same game, right?
One has guns.
One has guns, one has bows.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I felt anyway. Like I didn't get in on Bethesda games until Fallout 3, and I went from Fallout 3 to Skyrim, and then to New Vegas.
I started with Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
And
See, I never got that experience.
Elder Scrolls was full of bugs.
The first
it was
one,
amazing. And you could swing your axe up in the air, pause your game, equip a lockpick, and lockpick somebody in one shot to death. 100% of the time.
That's
Greatest hack ever. and
GoldenEye style weirdness.
If you hacked the actual console, you could make a ring that would break the gravity barrier, and you could stand on top of the map, and it just glitched the whole game out. But you could do it.
We got question number 5.
This one's easy. This one's
Uh-oh.
super fucking easy.
What's yours then? So easy.
Silent Hill,
You're gonna have
Then-
to go back
no,
to
if-
Farmville.
number 1.
I don't know. I don't think. I mean,
Silent Hill 1. First game that made me stay up all night until the sun came up.
Luigi's
see, but I've
Mansion.
never played Silent Hill 1, so that can't really be an answer for me.
Yeah. Well, we all have our own. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're still gonna try and argue.
what's the
yours.
scariest game that you ever played?
Well, the
Yeah,
only
it's
game
not.
so far, the only game that's actually scared me would be either
Slender?
when we were either when we were doing the Slender walkthrough, or what was that game that I got? for free, where we were in the jail and there was the ghost
Damn,
bitch.
dude.
It wasn't scary. It like the game itself, like it,
Fear?
I know what you're talking. No,
No.
it's not Fear. I know what you're talking about. God damn, it's
Daylight.
recent.
I think it's Daylight.
Was it Daylight?
I think so.
I think that's right.
But like,
The one we did the mega stream for with all 6 of us.
mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just with the mood, like it gets in your head, like especially if you got the noise canceling headphones and you're just like
Yes.
pitch black, and
Most-
it's just you and the game. You're not in Skype with anybody. No one's like,
Most innovative game, GameCube. I forgot the name of it. Something of Darkness. But the game would literally, the longer you played with it, the more it threw fake air codes at you while you were playing. So you would go to save it, and it would say not saved on purpose. Because it knew it was at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and it
Oh,
would
yeah.
just fuck with you.
I can't read this one.
Wait, I haven't said mine yet. Dead
Yeah?
Space 2. Dead Space 2.
I saw him
never
play-
got
yeah.
into Dead Space. I
That
should.
game was so. Dead Space 2 is one of the most insane games I've played in a long time.
Second.
There's a spot I could bring it up on the picture-in-picture right now, and you guys
Yeah.
would love it because there's one point I can't spoil it, but you have to fight your way up to the top of this spacecraft, and then you have to get to another part. But the only way is to launch yourself, and you have to dodge all the debris in between. And there's actually times whenever I jumped in that game after Doom was the only game before that I really jumped. I love that game. It was so great.
I have an honorable mention, and if you're into the horror games franchise, you definitely need to check out the original and the sequel to Fatal Frame. I think you would really enjoy Fatal Frame because I
I've
know
heard
how
a
much
lot
you
about
love
it.
Asian culture and everything, and
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
twist on the genre. Instead of like actually killing things, your weapon in the game is a camera.
Oh, I remember seeing
Yeah.
the review on that game.
It's so good. The original and the sequel, which was called the Twin Butterflies or something to that effect.
Yeah, I know all about that. That was original Japanese kind of
yes.
like horror games. They need to
Yes.
come back with that and get something innovative
It was
again.
so good. Well, they have a
'Cause
new.
it was
They had
too
a new
early for
entry.
that.
They have
It
a
was-
new entry to the franchise recently. Fatal
Do
Frame
they?
did, but it was like a Wii U game where you actually. It was bad.
I feel like that would ruin it now.
Some of the original Resident Evils when I was younger actually freaked me out with like the
That-
random chainsaw people
Dude.
jumping out of the walls or something, or jumping down
Yeah,
from
that's
a ledge.
whatever
Or,
it was. Part of, all of that has to do with more of the fact also whether it was like PlayStation or something like that. So the controls are way more clunky, and it makes the
Yes.
game even scarier because
Well-
it's not as easy to like traverse the environment and everything like that.
Even today, Resident Evil games are panned for their controls. Like it's horrible to control camera.
yeah, like
angles
you
and
can't
shit.
you can't move while shooting. I hate that
Yes.
shit so much.
But I do remember that moment. Like I was freshman year of high school, going over to a buddy's house, and he was playing Resident Evil on PlayStation, and we fresh started the game, walking down the hallway, and you just come upon that zombie, and he's like munching on a dude at the end of the hallway, and he just slow turns to the camera, and I was
think
like,
I played that same exact game. Is there? Can you
That's
kill
Resident
that
Evil
zombie?
1.
Can you?
Yeah,
you
that's
can't-
the first. That's the first zombie that you encounter in the game. That's
That was
the first
one of the-
reveal.
Wherever you
in
go up the
Resident Evil,
stairs and you
Biohazard
walk in,
game.
because I remember that game from the first time I peed my pants
Yeah.
from a video game when I was a child. Just like, what's this game? And I went
You-
up there. He's munching on him. I took him out like with
Yes.
all the. As I'm looking at my thing, I'm like, okay, I have no bullets left, so that means I'm
Yes.
screwed, right?
Yes.
And then he got back up
Yeah.
and started attacking me, and I
You-
straight up peed my pants because I did not expect him to get back up.
The original
Ugh.
Resident Evil opened up very strange. You had like this. PlayStation was very big on adding cinematic intros to their video
Oh, yeah.
games because it was the first time that you had like a disc-based operating or a disc-based console that actually worked. Other than they had Sega CD before that,
Genesis.
but it was the first 32-bit graphics CD-ROM console, and so they were very big on we can use real
Final
life
Fantasy
full
cutscenes.
full motion video,
Yeah.
FMVs, FLVs. We can put this in our games and have real actors act out scenes to open our video games up with and do cutscenes for. So they did that once in the game, and that was for the original intro.
Once.
And it's literally just like a dude running through some tall grass with some dogs chasing him, and then
Yeah.
you end up at the mansion, and then the game kicks in and it reverts to the 32-bit like Final Fantasy style graphics of Resident Evil, Final Fantasy 7 graphics anyways. And then you have your who did this, who did what conversation in a cutscene, and then you walk up the stairs, turn to the left, go to the end of the hall, and munch, munch, munch. That's that famous scene from the opening of Resident Evil where the zombie slow turns and then you pow, 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 and then it takes off from there. But yeah, horror games are fucking awesome.
I'm never
like
a huge fan.
I loved
personally.
them. I hate being scared. That's the weird thing.
I'm really looking forward to the new Silent Hill game. If it is anything like their demo at all.
It got canceled.
Did it?
Yeah.
Womp womp.
PT.
It'll come back out.
Playable
in some
trailer.
form.
That project, because that was supposed to star Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah.
milked enough. That needed to be like a womp womp womp.
Wah, wah. Yeah.
Dead.
Wah, 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 wah.
It has been finished. Number 6. Question number 6. I'm gonna go ahead and just say for this one, Doom 3.
Before we do that, though, I'm sorry to cut you off. This is going to take a while and it's a good thing. Before we get to question 6, I want to talk to FIFA King, who wants to support us. The best thing that you can do right now, and we don't like lobby for this shit on our stuff. We're pretty much against this, but because we're trying to get a static IP with YouTube, we really need to hit 500 subscribers or just
Yeah.
views.
I'm pretty sure it's followers is what they say.
Followers on
Description.
YouTube?
Yeah.
If you can get just subscribe or follow to the YouTube channel. There's a link on our main Twitch page. That's all we need. I just want to be able to have youtube.com/Route9 Productions or Route 9, whatever we choose. Right now, they've changed their policy where you can't just straight up set it up like that anymore. You have to meet a qualification quota to be able to do that. If you want to support us right now in the best way possible, we don't have anything to sell you. Sorry about that, but just go to the YouTube channel, search us, Route 9, the number 9, click on subscribe, follow whichever you feel like. Watch a couple of videos if you like. You can watch previous podcasts.
You could sell this gently used beer bottle
5 cents.
for
$156. You can support us in that way. So that's all I just wanted to say. I just wanted to hit him up because he has been talking to us about trying to support ourselves, and I appreciate that very much. So, but for now, back to the content.
Yeah, thanks for asking, and hello to
Yes.
you, Cynthia Strongheart.
Hello, Cynthia Strongheart.
Hello out there to you in the Uverse.
Scott, would you like to read question 6?
I'll be right back, by the way.
I have no idea what he means, but I assume it's Shadow of the Colossus is the answer.
The most paranoid tone or atmosphere?
I thought it was panoramic.
Oh, is it panoramic?
No, it's paranoid.
Paranoid? Eve.
Yeah, for you.
Eve.
Everyone's a spy.
Everybody's a fucking spy. Everybody wants to kill
Are you
me.
talking about just a
Paranoia,
game where
paranoia,
you're just
coming to get me.
like no matter what you're just paranoid?
Yeah,
I mean,
Eve.
Rust
Done.
for me.
Eve. 100%. Everybody wants to kill me. Everybody wants to steal my stuff.
Well, yeah, that's Rust too.
I literally had a corp CEO tell me to move to this area. It was through a wormhole. Once I got everything there, he was like, "See ya," and then left me there to die. And I had to pod myself, and I lost everything I owned.
Sucks.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? You said Rust? And
Yeah,
still the most
Rust.
paranoia?
I mean, if you're talking about just being paranoid, like I was pretty paranoid playing Slender Man the whole fucking time. I'm a very high stress person, so any scenario like that, I'm just waiting for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I overhype it so hard. So, but like when it comes to just atmosphere, Rust, because I know for a fact I'm gonna spend at least 2 days building this strong base. If it doesn't get rated in that first 2 days, it's getting rated within the next 2 days. Period. That just is what it is. There is, unless you get a group of guys together and you build a super strong base super fast to where they might rate it, but they probably won't get anything and you just have to do some minor rebuilding.
Right.
But you know for a fact when you log into that game and devote hours to it that within a week, more than likely, all that work is for nothing and you're starting back over again. Like that is the game. So hate it. Well,
I would
I don't
say the moment that I felt the most paranoid in a video game ever, because I haven't played many games that really make me paranoid. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I've played games that scare me.
That was the Silent Hill right there. You can go for the double
Well,
choice.
I'm gonna go a little different direction. Like the most paranoid I've ever been while playing a video game was Metal Gear Solid, because there's a moment in the game where you interact with a villain in a boss fight where he is addressing you. It breaks the fourth wall, right? Like the game breaks the fourth wall, where he's addressing you, not by name, of course, because they're not that genius at that point. This was like 1995, but he's talking to you as the gamer, as like getting in your head. It was a psychological villain. I can't remember the name right now. It's pissing me off, but it was somewhere along the lines of like Solid Octopus or Liquid Octopus.
Was he the guy that went invisible?
Yes, and he wore like the gas mask and floated and hovered. And the only way that you could finish the boss fight was you had to plug in a second controller into the console and fight him as the second player. You couldn't fight him as a first player. You had to be player 2, which the game was a solo player game. There was no 2-player aspect. So of course I didn't have a second controller plugged in. I couldn't figure out how to beat it. And he's taunting me, and and I'm just like, what? Are they fucking behind me right now? Like, doing this shit, someone pranking me? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. I couldn't figure it out, and then I finally just like read into it. This was before the internet, guys. This was, I didn't have game facts. Didn't exist. So I tried everything, and then eventually just plugged in a second controller, and it rumbled, and it was like, that was the first time they had DualShock controllers, was in that game. That was what sold DualShock, was that vibration from that moment. And I'm like, my hands were shaking literally from the vibration. It was super strong. And then like hit a button, and it's like, good, and it like damaged him. And that was the first moment in the game I can remember where I was just like, somebody is watching me play this game. They're controlling the console. Like, what's going on? And it wasn't plugged into the internet. It was a PlayStation 1. It was so weird. That's to answer your question about paranoia in video games. That's really the only moment I've ever had where I was like, someone's watching me play this game, and I'm super freaked out right now.
I didn't know we were going by that angle, so I might have to change my decision from Doom 3, which it still was very good because you went down the lift and you only had a flashlight. That's all you had.
Oh, God.
And all the lights were off in the space station. But might have to go with Dark Souls now. Because if it's that kind of thing, it's like, yeah, I don't...
Something's coming to get me.
If you turn a corner wrong, you're dead, and then you got to traverse all that again.
Yeah.
For the 10th time.
Yeah.
I miss games that are like that, honestly.
It's great. I love Dark Souls. They hate it. They hate me for loving it, but I love the game. Love it.
Hey, that's no problem, Morrison Hendricks. We appreciate the input. We do this a lot recently. We've only been streaming for, I think, 3 weeks now? 3 or 4 weeks.
3.
Yes.
Yeah, and viewer input is always welcome on the show in the form of constructed questions, not the crap we were getting before. Yeah, we love interacting with you guys and answering your questions and stuff. It helps us out. It builds content and makes for good conversation.
They did ask one more.
Yes.
What was that? Question 7?
There was another question?
Yes.
I feel like we should probably end on this one. We're about 20.
We'll end. Yeah. I'm going to give you a moment to edit because I'm going to say this. We're going to end the recording section of the podcast that we post on YouTube, and then afterwards, the stream will keep going.
Then it gets really chaotic, and there's no form.
We'll just keep talking with you guys,
and
the podcast will continue, but we do cut to edit, and everything I'm saying now will probably be taken out of the video
off
version.
the record.
And then I'll stop right now for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we'll cut. And then I'll say something along the lines of, all right, thanks for joining us this week, guys. This has been podcast number 11 of the Route 9 Productions podcast. I've been joined by
Tyler.
Mason.
Scott.
And Brad.
Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you again next week.